Today, we're going to talk about a quiet revolution that's been happening inside solar panels. It's something that's making them way more powerful and a whole lot cheaper than ever before. So let's dive right in. You see, for the last decade or so, something really dramatic has been happening with the cost of solar energy. While pretty much everything else has been getting more expensive, the cost to get electricity from the sun, it's been absolutely plummeting. So how much has it dropped? Get this. A staggering 87%. I mean, that's not just a small discount, it's a complete change in the entire energy game. So what does that 87% number really mean? Well, it refers to something called the levelized cost of energy, or LCOE for short. Basically, think of it as the true bottom line price of electricity over the entire life of a power plant. And for big solar farms, that cost has just been in an absolute nosedive. So you've got to be asking, right? How on earth did this happen? How did solar get so cheap so fast? Well, it's not just about building more factories. The real answer is a series of incredibly clever engineering breakthroughs happening right at the heart of the panel, inside the solar cell itself. Okay, so to really get this, we need to look at the anatomy of a modern solar cell. There are two huge innovations that have completely changed everything: how we slice them up and how we design them to soak up way more light. The first big idea, it almost sounds too simple to be true. You take a normal solar cell and you just cut it in half. That's it. It's called a half-cut solar cell. And believe it or not, this tiny change has some massive effects. So here's why this is such a big deal. When you slice that cell in two, you also cut the electrical current flowing through it in half. And because of that, you drastically reduce the amount of energy that gets wasted as heat. Engineers call it resistive loss. So less waste means more power, which means higher efficiency. It's a simple cut that leads to a huge gain. Now, the second game-changing idea is what's called a bifacial solar cell. You know, traditional panels, they only catch light from one side. But a bifacial panel, it's like a two-sided sponge for sunlight. It can absorb energy from the front and the back. And this is a total game changer. It grabs all the direct sunlight hitting the top, of course, but it also captures the light that hits the ground and bounces back up. This means you can squeeze out a lot more power from the exact same amount of space, all thanks to a smarter design. But wait, the clever ideas don't stop with the cells themselves. To put these new cells together into a really high-power panel, manufacturers started thinking bigger, quite literally. As you can see right here, the silicon wafers, which are the basic building blocks for solar cells, they've been getting bigger and bigger over time. We went from these 5- and 6-inch wafers before 2015 to what's now becoming the new standard, a 12-inch or 210-millimeter wafer. A bigger wafer just means you're starting off with a more powerful cell right from the get-go. And the most important part, this isn't some niche experiment you can't actually buy. As this quote from an industry giant, Trina Solar, shows, these new, larger panels are designed to be the new industry standard. They're ready to go, right now. Okay, so we've got smarter cells and we've got bigger wafers. But let's bring it all back home. What does all this tech talk actually mean in the real world? This is where it all connects back to that falling price tag. So what's the bottom line here? When you combine all these technologies, the half-cut cells, the two-sided bifacial designs, and the bigger wafers, what kind of performance boost do you really get? Well, the numbers are pretty incredible. A study comparing them shows this really clear improvement. A standard old-school cell might get you around 14.2% efficiency. Moving to a half-cut design, that bumps it up to 16.5%. And a bifacial panel can push that efficiency all the way past 20%. Each step is a pretty major leap forward. And all this extra efficiency translates into 3 huge wins for anyone installing solar. First, obviously, you get way more power out of each panel. Second, since each panel is more powerful, you don't need as much space to generate the same amount of electricity. And third, more power for less cost means you make your money back on the investment a whole lot faster. So, to put it as simply as possible, you're getting more power from less space, and you get a quicker return on your investment. That's really the amazing promise of this new generation of solar tech. So where does all this lead? Well, these innovations aren't just making solar panels a little bit better, they're totally redefining what's possible for our energy future. The big takeaway here is clear. This isn't some niche technology for a few enthusiasts anymore. Panels built with these advanced, super efficient designs, they're on track to become the new normal in the global solar market. We're looking at the new mainstream. We started this whole thing with that incredible 87% price drop that has already changed our energy grid. So now, as these super-powered panels become the standard, making solar even cheaper and easier to get, you have to wonder, what part of our world will they transform next?